everybody. Welcome back to Around The Emirates podcast with Sara Mousa, where I speak to guests from across UAE about topics you want to hear about. Today, I'm joined by the incredibly talented AJ, who is an entrepreneur with an amazing story to tell. Welcome to the show, AJ.
Thank you for having me and thank you for this invitation. Truly grateful.
I am very grateful that you have taken the time to speak to me about your wonderful journey. I love the fact that you're an entrepreneur and that you have so much to tell. Please tell me your story and what got you started as an entrepreneur.
That's the journey which I did not want to jump in because honestly,
Great start.
somehow life opened the door for me. I always believe that the best thing is to work for the company and be on that kind of a safe side. And if you learn something from COVID is that safe is that is nothing is safe. So I jump on this journey, and funny enough, today as a dark king, where I'm founder, I'm having a couple of international big companies client, where I am an octopus. I would call that. You have to have so many different hats. The difference between Middle East and, for example, Europe is that in Europe it's very specifically designed that you have sales, marketing, branding, business development, PR, and stuff like that. While in Middle East, you have to be an octopus. So this is why the logo of the Dark Ink is an octopus, because you have to have so many different hands and the talents. Within the current role, with the clients as well, I bring them to this journey where they need to embrace the transition. They need to face the challenges, and it's in Dubai. We are blessed, but almost under the brackets curse, because here it's super dynamic comparing to Europe. I have a client in Europe currently who is all about mental health and working 9 to 5 and stuff
Love
like
that.
that. While in as an entrepreneur, I don't have a day off. I work 7 days a week, and when my friends ask me, "So how do you recharge?" I simply say, "I sleep." So this is the journey where I realize if you want to be king of your kingdom, you have to create a kingdom. From my experience, uh, working for yourself, it's truly rewarding. But as a former dancer, I was a professional dancer a long time ago. I learned to be mega disciplined, and I think that is driving my business as well. Uh, why I became entrepreneur? Because I was very tired from my experience that have salary late for 3 months, 3 weeks, sorry, breaking the records of the sale as a head of the department of director, and then not being paid for what I earned. Not every story is the same. I have a lot of friends who did not have that kind of experience in Dubai. So
Mm.
I decided to break the pattern. I'm like, listen, amazing, learn a lot from it. And this is why I'm one of the rare who pays always people on time.
I love that. I love the fact that you were able to bring such important values from something you had passion for, dancing, into what is currently your path in life. And it's something that you also understand has its pros and cons, right? Obviously, working 7 days a week, like you said, only be able to really sleep to be able to recharge. Now, you're bringing up the idea of kind of the challenges of being an entrepreneur and starting your own kind of journey. What would you say has been your biggest challenge, and how do you feel you are overcoming it currently?
So see, it's beautiful the way how we say challenge, and I always inspire my clients to use a couple of words. Never to say problem, because as somebody who studies psychotherapy, a problem is always have a negative solution. While challenge has you can overcome. Uh, to make a parallel, and I will go back to your question, I always say to the clients never to use a term support, because we are not, or not all of us are English mother tongue. I'm born in Yugoslavia, but I'm French. And funny enough, the word support is always related to finance and money, child support, wife support. So I always say that we're going to guide you. So it's a thin line, and when you have a challenges, I always say you have two options only in the life: or you're gonna make it, or you're not. So no, it's the answer which is always guaranteed, and I always go for yes. So if there is a will, there is a way.
That is beautiful. I like the fact that you choose your words very wisely. I can tell that you know how to position and shift perspectives on something. So as opposed to seeing it as a challenge, you're seeing it as something that you can learn from. That's kind of the gist that I'm getting from you in this conversation. And you also do look for opportunities. You look for ways to make things beneficial for both parties, for yourself, for your clients, and in a way that does help and support your path and your business. And I feel like having had so many different experiences, being a dancer, you just said that you've done psychotherapy. What would you say is something, an experience or a story that really changed things or inspired things for you?
You see, as a somebody who is in this marketing, brand, artificial intelligence, PR, all this business development for the last 20 plus years, and I'm only 17. Uh, I learn a lot from the past, I must be honest. And I will never forget, and even this preparation when we were getting ready for this conversation, the first thing which really struck me as a memory was maybe 30 years ago when I was having a dance competition. I will always, because I did a lot of ballroom dancing at the time, and I was the only one who prepared my dancing shoes. And there was a big, very important competition, and by accident, I put in my bag two left shoes. So I had to dance the entire competition with my partner at the time with the two left shoes without knowing everybody could not see that it's two left shoes. So imagine your naturally turn out to turn is opposite. So I had to put additional effort that you don't see that your feet are like we call banana feet. So then I learned that one of the biggest lesson doesn't matter which obstacle you have, it is possible to overcome, and that you need not to fake it till you make it, you need to fake it till you become it. So two left shoes, yeah, it is very challenging, it is very demanding to do turns and splits and jumps, doesn't matter, but it is possible. You just need to be creative, you need to be consistent, which majority of the business from my experience in the Middle East, are missing. You have this kind of a massive obstacles, but not only Middle East, a lot of lifestyle fashion houses having a lot of amplitude in the movement instead of consistency. And when you have an obstacle, obstacle is the way. You should embrace the change, challenge, and the change, and you do the best you can at that time, at that moment. And what I learned at that time specifically is that you should never, ever, ever talk badly about yourself. Certain situation happens, you can't turn back time, even if you want. You can't change the environment. You can't pause entire competition and the people, and you go back 300 kilometers to get the right shoes. You have that, and you need to make sure that you have the best of it. Don't be hard on yourself. So focus on the good. No matter who you are, especially in the Middle East, we are all coming from different sides and different areas. Complaining and moaning, it's very easy. Being a nice gentleman or lady, being a professional, saying a good thing, saying a polite thing, requires certain efforts, education, talents, and even you bring your family heritage and tradition. So if you have a two left shoes, do the best you can.
Can I just say I've been waiting on this joke for a second? So you had two left feet. But anyway, sorry, I had to say that. But
I
putting
did not
my
I did not want I did not want the tournament at the time. The result was horrible. Nevertheless, I remember the speaker, the master of the ceremony, want to announce, and I'm like, please don't. I was so ashamed. However, taught me a lot. Um, Another story which was crucially important for me. Um, I was one of the soloist dancers at the time at Moulin Rouge in Paris, and I got an SMS because at that time WhatsApp did not exist. That my grandfather passed away, and that was the first time that some of the closest members of our family passed away. And the Moulin Rouge Theatre has between 800 and 1,000 seats. And people paid, at that time, I would say $150 a ticket, to enjoy, to forget the problems, to live the dream. And while you're working and being on stage, you get SMS that somebody who you love dearly has gone, and that my job is to entertain people. And it was very heartbreaking because, on stage, you need to pull out the best of yourself and have a smile and play the role that you have at that night of the theater. While on the backstage, the tears will be in my eyes, and it will be very, very hard. And this is the day when I think still today that I passed the degree, the PhD of what does it mean being professional. And in reality, no matter how cruel it is, whenever people pay the ticket or whatever money they paid for, they don't want to see your problems. They don't care about your problems because the job is for you to deliver.
The show must go
And
on.
exactly. And that lesson was actually crucially important for me because even today, when I lecture or when I have a master class or when I'm coaching CEOs of the global companies, I always tell them that, and it's not an easy lesson to learn, I must be honest, that in work, yes, you can have empathy, you have emotions, but when you make a decision, one of the keys from my point of view, it's to not to have emotions because you need to have a cool head. And sometimes I do believe the females should be better leaders. Uh, yeah, 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 yeah. Historically, we have so many different situation where the women were better leaders than the men's, and all of my bosses were actually ladies, and I'm truly grateful for that. But with the gentlemen, it's not always easy, like and being tough and stuff like that. So I learned then what to be a professional, what is not, and to keep the private emotion for you, because if I will collapse on the loss on stage, everybody will be judgmental because they pay the ticket to get something completely else. So that was one of the two experiences which were for me fundamentally important. And that really truly shaped me who am I today and how I run my business, how I generate the sales for my clients, and how I can make the massive growth on all the levels. Because currently I have a clients from Canada to Australia. So it's a global, and no matter where you go, human psychology is the same. No matter which religion you believe in, each religion talks about love. Call it Jesus, Allah, Krishna, Buddha, Lucky Star. It is all about love towards something and respect as well. So these pillars are actually fundamentally important for me in order that I make it, and I can guide my clients and my people who are working with me.
Well, thank you so much, AJ, for sharing such personal experiences and such important lessons throughout this episode. I've learned so much talking to you, and I really do appreciate that you're promoting that message of peace and love and also being kind to yourself. And I've really enjoyed speaking with you today. Thank you so much for such an inspiring interview.
Thank you.
Take care, guys. Bye.